Hello, welcome to our second part of the open house meet and greet. The first presenter we have tonight is Kathy Lentz, and she is going to talk about what the registrar office does and helps you out with.
Thanks, Andrea. As she stated, I'm Kathy Lentz, and I supervise the Global Campus registration team. And pictured here is myself with Terry Reams and Gianna Mertz. And we took this picture today. It's a beautiful fall day on Pullman. And so that's a picture of us today. Also taken today is a picture of us at our home in Van Doren. We all share an office together. One thing I'll also mention is our team is a team of 4. So right now we are in process of hiring a position. So in general, the registration team is a team of 4, and we are looking forward to having a new person start with us hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I'll just mention some of the functions that our team does. What we process, so we help with registration. We process cancellation of enrollments for Global Campus. We also facilitate, help instructors post grades, so the grade processing, as well as grade changes, anything to do with grading. That is also our office. We also process petitions for retroactive date changes. Our team also processes the scheduling for departments with the Global Campus. So we're the team that helps us get the schedule ready at the beginning of each registration time. And we also assist with Blackboard enrollments. So at the beginning of the semester, if there's any issues with your courses in Blackboard, having them enrolled or dropped, we also are the team that helps support that as well.
So I have a question for you, Kathy. Say I registered for a class, but it doesn't immediately show up on my Blackboard. Is that normal? When does it show up?
The courses show up in Blackboard the Friday before the start date of the course. So if the course begins at the beginning of term, which many of them do, it will be the Friday before the beginning of that term. Some of our sessions do start later. For example, we have a session starting October 15th, and those courses will be available tomorrow, the Friday before the start date. Good question.
Yeah, I'm going to have another one, but I'm going to go ahead and show us. So another question that I have are petitions. How do I know if I need to fill out a petition? What is a petition for?
So the undergraduate student petition form is for retroactive date changes. So for example, if you submitted a cancellation of enrollment in week 13 and maybe have a medical situation that happened or some extenuating circumstance that prevented you from being successful in your course, you could submit a petition and ask for that cancellation to be processed on week 1 or week 2.
Okay.
Or a different week. Also, the petition process is used if you used all of your W's. Students have 4 W's in their career with Washington State University. So if you have used all of them and need to use another one, you can submit a petition for an exception to that policy.
Perfect. And do you have any other questions that you get a lot? Like, what's your #1 question from students that you get? You know?
I don't.
I know. I'm sure you get a lot of questions. So you were talking about grade changes. So if I don't like my grade or if my grade's not showing up, do I contact you first? Do I contact my professor first? What's the best way to do that?
A lot of times it's better to contact the instructor.
Okay.
But certainly we can help reach out to the instructor if students are having a hard time getting in touch with them. And sometimes we can reach out to the department in case they're, if they've left the university, if it's been, 6 months or so, we can always reach out to the department. But it's always best to start with the instructor if possible, but we're there to help if that doesn't work.
Perfect. Now say I do have a question and I want to email you. Are you gonna get back to me right away? Or are you gonna get back to me in a week? You guys usually try really hard to?
That is also a great question that I wanted to talk about. So on the PowerPoint that we're no longer sharing, but our email address is online.registrar@wsu.edu. There we go. And we are using the WSU approved ticketing system to manage our emails. And so what's important about that is when you send an email to online.registrar@wsu.edu, you will get a bounce back email that your message has been received. And when we respond to you, you will get another email, but also you will have the ability to create an account if you haven't done so already and view the entire ticket. And so our processing time on emails/tickets is 24 to 48 hours. This tool helps us manage those messages quite efficiently. So we definitely try to respond quicker if possible. But letting people know that there is a ticketing system that is new within the last few semesters, and so those do look a little different than a regular email.
Perfect. And I have another question for you. You talked about cancellation of enrollment. So you're saying if I just want to cancel, do I just call you, or what's the actual procedure that I should be doing?
So on the website, you'll either be directed on the information on our website, the Global Campus website, or you should receive a message in My WSU when you're trying to drop your last class to go to cancel.wsu.edu, and it's an online form.
Awesome. Does anyone in the class have any questions that they would like to ask Kathy? So if we don't have any more questions, which it looks like I do not see any, we will go ahead and let Miss Kathy go, and we'll bring on our next presenter. So thank you so much, Kathy, for joining us. And again, I'm sure if anyone has questions, they can email you at your, what was the email again?
online.registrar@wsu.edu.
Perfect. So thank you again for attending. Okay, so we're back, and with us we have Michelle, and she is with Student Accounts. So she's going to kind of go over and tell us little things that we might need to know about our student account. I know that is a question on everybody's mind who doesn't care about their money. So I'm going to go ahead and get her PowerPoint up so she can get started and share her knowledge with you.
So I am Michelle Dowler. I'm a fiscal specialist that works with all the online student accounts. So if you are an online student, you're going to call me or email me. So the first question most students have, a lot of them, how can I pay my account balance? All students, whether you're an online student or just a regular student at Pullman, you pay your balance by going to wsu.edu/the word payment. If you have any questions regarding your balance, or if you can't get in and pay your balance, then email or call. Sometimes the system is down and you're not able to get in and make a payment. You sometimes will have to just wait and try it the next day, try it a couple hours later. But if you're having serious issues with it, just email or call me, and I can look into that and see what's going on, and then get back to you and let you know about that. And then a lot of students, most of my questions are, what do I have to do to get a late fee removed? I have a late fee on my account, or multiple late fees. I need to get them removed. If you are having a late fee on your account for spring or fall, and you feel like you need that to be removed for multiple reasons, it doesn't matter what it is, you will email the University Receivables Department at univ-receivables@wsu.edu, and you will put an explanation in your email of why you feel like your late fee needs to be removed. Make sure your name and WSU ID number is in that email. And then you will also put late fee in the subject line so that it gets sent to me, because all of the ones for online students are forwarded to my department. And if you have a late fee for summer, that goes to a totally different email. Summer has a petition right now that you have to fill out. Theirs is summer.wsu.edu, and you will go when you go to that website, you will go under tuition and fees, and that's where that petition is. And you'll fill out the same information, your name, your WSU ID number, and an explanation in the email explaining why you feel like that needs to be removed. Those late fees, most of the time it's 2 or 3 days, but depending on what the reasoning is or the time of year, sometimes it can take a week or two to get back to you on those late fees. So if you don't hear something and you're worried about it, just email or call and I can look into that for you as well. And most online students, if you have an employer, employers want you to get something from WSU that's on WSU letterhead for it to be reimbursed from your employer. So how do you get an itemized statement for your account, either for your employer, your school, business? You will email me at studentaccounts@wsu.edu. The accounts is, so the email is studentaccs@wsu.edu. Put your WSU ID number and your name and just explain what's needed. You'll want to make sure you put on there what semester that you're needing it for. And I type up a whole itemized statement for that's stamped with official letterhead for your employer. I haven't had any that have come back that employers won't accept that. Most students try to get something that's just printed off, but what students can print off isn't on official letterhead, so most employers won't take that. But most of those, if I get them within 48 hours, I can send it back to you. So you'll have that for your employer. Please make sure that you know on return emails, WSU has to send things to your WSU email. So you'll want to make sure that you check that WSU email often, because anytime I send an itemized statement or we talk to students, everything WSU sends out has to go back with that WSU email. And then who do I contact if you don't understand something on your account? It can be something you think might be huge, something small. It doesn't matter. I will answer any question you have, because no question is a stupid question. So you will email me at that student accounts email. So it's studentaccs@wsu.edu, or you can call me at 509-335-7882, and that's my direct number, and let me know what questions you need. Make sure that if you call or email, you leave your name and WSU ID number. Otherwise, it's very hard to try to find out those two pieces of information. But any questions you have, big or small, or maybe you don't know who to contact, I have students that contact me just to ask, I don't know who to contact for this question. And I will look into it so you're not bounced around. So if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to let me know. Do you guys have any questions out there?
I do, Michelle. I've heard before, and I don't know, you may have gone over it, and I'm sorry if you did.
That's okay.
I know I have students always ask me about payment plans. Now, what is the stance on that? We don't have them, or do we have them, or what do you tell students when they ask them?
WSU does not have payment plans right now. There's been talk of it, but they have never put anything in place. Some other colleges do, but WSU does not. If you know, your biggest thing is to make sure your accounts are paid up, because there's holds that go onto your accounts. If you want to register, those holds have to be removed, so your payments, you have to have a zero balance to pay that. But yeah, no payment plans.
Okay, but
Not
that's
at this
something
time.
if I have a hold or an issue, I can call you and you can, or
I can
they
at least
call
look
you and
into
you
it
can
or
look
tell
into
you
it.
who to contact, yeah.
Perfect.
And see what your hold is, because there are so many holds at WSU. So if you just call me and let me know, I can look at and see what your hold is for.
Okay.
And what your balance is on your account.
Great. Does anyone else have any questions out there? Kara is with us today, and she is the ASWSU president. Is that correct, Kara? Yes.
There we go. Can you guys hear me okay? All right. So I'm Kara Lane. I am the ASWSU Global President this year. This is my second year on Senate. I served as the Student Resource Committee Chair last year, the Secretary, a little bit as the Vice President. So I've done a couple roles. It's been a great experience. I work with a great team, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them all. This is my third year at WSU Global Campus. I graduated in May with my my bachelor's in business management, and I will graduate in May with my master's in strategic communication. So ASWSU Global is the student body senate that represents all of us as Washington State Global Campus students. We're all part of ASWSU Global. I just happen to be on the Senate. What we do is we help students with scholarships, with getting resource reimbursements. We have 6 resource reimbursements right now. Our committee, resource committee, is working on even more. So those should come out. Hopefully they'll be out and ready for you guys next year. It's a process. Basically, our mission is to develop and maintain a leadership organization and advocate for students, put on events. We do some virtual. We have quite a few in-person events for students throughout the year. Our next one, we will talk about it a little bit later, but it's next month. We love meeting people. We did Rendezvous this summer in August, and I think we had about 150 students there. It was down in Portland, so it was a great experience. So there's 10 of us. I serve as the president. We have a vice president, a director of legislative affairs, and 8 senators, including our treasurer and secretary. We were elected, so we will have another election, I believe, in January of next year for next year's Student Senate. And we also have 5 committees that are served by students and officers, including the Student Involvement Committee, Student Resource Committee, which are part of the Senate. We also have the S&A Fee Committee, the Judicial Committee, who maintains our bylaws and constitution, makes sure we uphold our job, the Diversity Committee, and that's it. And then our Director of Legislative Affairs, Michael Lindsay, works to lobby on behalf of the students. We're coming up on the legislative season, so he's getting pretty busy right now. So I'm the president. Stephanie Johnstone is the vice president. This is her first year on Senate. Director of Legislative Affairs, Mike Lindsay. He has been the director before. He was not last year, and he came back this year. Danica Swigert serves as both our secretary and our student involvement chair. Oh, missing some names there. Melissa Vincent-Haler is our treasurer, and Heather Sheldon is our, she's a senator and resource committee chair. Morgan Atwood is a senator, and then she also runs the Global Cougar Success Program. I think, Andrea, I want to say you're on there already. If you haven't registered for that, it's a great way to get involved, and I highly recommend it. And then we have 4 senators, Antoinette Harrison, Amika Whitus, Sheridan Ingalls, and a brand new Senator, Megan Hexum, as of Tuesday. So this is Megan over on the right, and then the rest of us over on the left, these both are at Rendezvous from August. So that's our team. And then we do have, I don't know what happened to my PowerPoint and PDF. I apologize. I can send you guys the Word document version of this, or the PowerPoint if you'd like. And I can pull your guys' emails if that works for you. So our Student Involvement Committee works on the face-to-face events, the virtual events. Sometimes you'll see Heather Sheldon pop in and do a live stream video. We live stream from events. And then they also are working, they just worked and finished a 4-month project for student planners. So you all should see them. I believe they're being mailed out in the next week or so. So we just went back to that after 2 years of taking a break. Students wanted them back, so we are doing that. And then again, like I said, we have Rendezvous. Apple Cup is our next event. We go tubing this year. It is in Snoqualmie. We have Coug Day at the Capitol in January. Spring Rendezvous is this March 3rd, I believe. That location has not been determined yet. And then in the spring, we have global grad receptions. So all global students can go to commencement in Pullman or to any other WSU campuses. But we also, ASWSU Global puts on our own receptions. So we do one in Seattle. This year it will be at the Canal. And then we do one in Pullman as well, the day before commencement, so that people graduating can bring their families. It's one of the best, it's one of my favorite events. Students can bring their families, everyone goes up, gets a chance to thank everyone. It's a really intimate event. It's a lot of fun. And then we also have the committee meetings that are held once a month. They're on the 4th Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. We get overly excited when students come in to meetings. So if you ever want to stop by, our next one is coming up. Student Resource Committee. So the last committee is Danica Swigert is the chair, and then Heather Sheldon is the chair of the Resource Committee. This one really works on marketing and resources, reimbursements, scholarships. We do travel grants. So if you have a leadership that you'd like to go to, like a leadership conference you'd like to go to, you can submit to get reimbursed up to $250 for that. And then we put together last year some resource videos that just kind of talk about all the different opportunities that we have on global campus. And then our team is working on, I think they're looking at whether or not they can do a proctoring reimbursement. That's something that they're kind of just diving into and are really feeling passionate about. So those meetings are the 3rd Thursday of the month at 7 p.m., which is supposed to be this Thursday. It will not be. I believe it's next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Most of our team is going to Washington, D.C. next week. So that's when the meeting was supposed to be. That'll be, I believe it's the 24th, actually. And then the Global Cougar Success Program. I have the link on there. You just go in, you register. It's pretty simple. You complete different categories within WSU Global, and I just got an email. I get my first gift for going to our own Senate meeting. Morgan Atwood has been putting together some great swag for students. So if you go through all the steps in that, I don't even remember what her biggest gift is, but you get the commencement cord for graduation, and then a bunch of other really cool stuff just kind of throughout the program. So I definitely recommend signing up for that. Oh, I apologize about this PowerPoint. So the Diversity and Equity Committee is run by Christy Maldonado. This is her 2nd year running the committee, and they do a book club called Dream. And so you sign up. I believe it's still open right now on CougSync under forms. They'll mail out the book for it, and then she has it outlined on the form when you register what discussions they're going to do and when those dates are going to be. So it's all about diversity and inclusion. She's got a lot of passion. She just does a great job with this committee. It's a pleasure to go and be part of that. Her committees are held the 4th Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. And then I have her email down there. She is not part of Senate, but we all kind of work together. So you can email her directly. And then we always, always, always love when different students get involved. It doesn't happen a lot. We're all global students. A lot of us are working. We have kids. We're busy. So if you can, come to a Senate meeting over the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of the month. Come to a committee meeting. You can volunteer at an event. You can host a webinar through our website. We love any kind of involvement from students. We really do. We get gleeful anytime someone comes in. Then we talk about it for 5 days afterwards. So you can find all of our events for that and our event dates on our website, which is down below. And then this is the list of events as of right now. So we have Apple Cup coming up. I'm working to secure a charter bus from Tukwila that will go out to Apple Cup and Pullman and then come back. It'll be a long day, but it'll be fun. No one will have to drive over the pass. And then December commencement, if anyone is walking, that's, I think sometimes global students forget that they can go to that, or they're not certain, but I did walk last year. It was a lot of fun. And then in January, we are doing Cosmic Tubing at Snoqualmie. Coug Day at the Capitol, we go and we lobby. Last year was my first year. It was a great event. So you go, you meet your representatives, you talk about student issues. It's a really great way to be a student and get involved. Spring Rendezvous is one of our biggest events. We host some workshops. We have Global Connections usually comes out, Wellbeing, CCE, virtual mentors, advisors, and we just kind of get together and have a great time. We try to make it really family oriented. It says Grand Mountain, Washington. It is not. It is to be determined. We are working on it. So check Facebook. We are narrowing it down to our last couple choices, and then we are going to put a Facebook poll out to help decide. April, we are doing our first event in Tri-Cities. This is our first smaller demographic area for events, and Heather Sheldon is chairing. She lives over in Tri-Cities, and we're waiting to find out what she's doing. I think there's talk of a winery. I think something about a boat. I'm not sure. So she will put together a great event. We have our grad receptions in May, and it's the Friday before is in Pullman, commencement's on Saturday, and then Sunday is in Seattle. And then we are looking at our demographics to see where our students are located, and from there we're going to try to get tickets out to people for different sporting events. That's also a new thing that we're trying this year. So I'm hoping we can do it at least by basketball season, baseball season. And then just a little bit more about the resources, scholarships. We provide the funds for that. It's something that we don't see the resources get all used up every year. So make sure you're applying for those, and let's use them up, because then we can ask for more money and more students can get funds as well. We also offer a mental health reimbursement of up to $360. All of these forms are on CougSync under the forms category for ASWSU Global, with all of the different stipulations and requirements for that. We are seeing a lot of people do reimbursements, I would say more than we used to, and I would recommend going on there soon. It's kind of a first come, first serve basis for all of these. Childcare, you can, I believe it's $100 per month, up to $400 a year, an academic year for full-time students, and $200 for part-time students. That's a great resource. I think we've only had one so far. So if you have kids, they go to daycare, start submitting those forms. That's just a little bit more about it. Travel grants, again, a great resource. I'm actually going to a conference at the end of this month, and I'm applying for a travel grant as well that will allow me to go and not have to worry too much about the funding for it. A lot of criteria for these. The biggest thing with travel grants is you have to apply for it before the event happens, and it has to happen before you graduate. And if any of you are graduating in December, we do offer 25 graduating students reimbursements for cap and gown up to, I believe, $50. I want to say it's around 50 or 60 for cap and gown. So first 25 get that nice little, just like a nice little discount right at the end. And then again, this is all of our contact information. Everyone, you can email them for whatever you need. Any questions you have, you can come to a meeting if you have any ideas for events, for new resources, anything that you might need as a global student that you don't feel like you are getting questions, comments, concerns about anything, you can come to us, and if we don't know the answers, we will direct you back to a lot of the people who were here tonight. Does anyone have any questions for me?
So, well, thank you again, Kara, for joining with us. I appreciate you taking the time out.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So here with us now, we have Sylvia Bullock, and she is going to talk about writing portfolio. What is it? Why do I have to do it? What's going on?
Everyone's favorite.
I know. So we'll go to her PowerPoint. And so there you go.
Hi, everybody. Like Andrew said, my name is Sylvia Bullock. I am part of the student support staff here at WSU, but my main focus is the junior writing portfolio. that wonderful graduation requirement that frustrates most of our student population. So I'm just going to go over some of the basics of what is required for WSU students to complete their writing portfolio, and as a graduation requirement, it is a requirement for all. So that's just basic information. So what is the junior writing portfolio? So the junior writing portfolio is a graduation requirement across all WSU campuses. So it is a system-wide graduation requirement. There is no way to get out of it. It consists of 2 parts. And so I'll go through a little bit of both of those for you. So there's no order to which one you complete first. I just do it this way because the exam takes less time. So the first part is the junior writing portfolio exam. Following along with the slides, it's an exam that lasts up to 2 hours. That can be amended for students who need accommodations. You can go through our Access Center, and they will make those for you. So if you're a student who needs accommodations, that applies to the junior writing portfolio exam as well. So it is a test that takes up to 2 hours, and it consists of 2 essay prompts. They're chosen at random, so there are several different prompts for students, but students do not get to see them before they are given. What I do tell students is that one is going to be argumentative. So usually your first prompt is going to be argumentative, so you just have to be able to defend your point. And the second one is reflective, usually about your feelings about writing the first essay. You don't need any outside research. You don't need to prep. It's really to measure how you write in the moment. So they just want to be able to judge both facets of your writing. And when we talk about the second part, you'll understand that a little more. The exam itself is actually weighted less than the other portion of the exam. So students tend to freak out about the exam because they can't prepare for it, but it's not weighted as much in your final grade. All right, I'm going to go to the next slide. So the next slide is part 2 of the junior writing portfolio, and that is called the paper packet, papers, however you want to describe those. So the paper packet is a collection of 3 writing samples from different courses from your time at WSU or at any previous institution of higher education, or in certain circumstances, even career. So job, if you've worked for a newspaper, anything like that, we have made those exceptions before. And just a general overall rule, if you have questions about what is acceptable and what is not, you can always contact our office, and we will make sure we contact the Writing Center, and they will let us know if you can use that paper or not. But the paper packet is a collection of 3 writing samples from different courses, so they cannot all be from the same course. And then for global students, for those papers, most of our students are going to send an email to the professor or TA for the course that they took, where they wrote that paper, or any kind of writing sample. It doesn't have to be a typical essay. It can be a memo. It can be part of a group project. It could be your Blackboard group discussions. I've had people use PowerPoints as long as the text minimum is 1.5 pages. So it's really whatever you're proud of that you've written, as long as it meets the minimum amount of text. So get creative. And if there's something you're really proud of, and again, if you're not sure, you can always email me, and I'll make sure I contact the Writing Center. But you're going to get a confirmation email, which is actually the reply from the professor, or TA, stating that that paper is your work, your original work for that class, and that it is acceptable or outstanding for review. If they don't give you an acceptable or outstanding, the Writing Center will still review your paperwork. It just sort of helps lead their review process, but it's not imperative. So don't freak out if they don't put that in there. Professors can be a little scatterbrained, so sometimes they forget to do that. It's okay. So you're going to collect those works as email. The other exception is, and I wanted to make this a bullet point, you can have your cover sheet signed. So all Global Campus students have access to the cover sheet. You need it to complete your portfolio. You will see a signature line at the bottom. If you see your professor in person, or if it's from an old college or university, so somewhere else you attended, and you see that professor or TA in person and they just sign the physical cover sheet, then you do not need the email. So it is either or, it is not both. And then if there are any exceptions, so if you're really, really struggling to get in contact with the professor, let us know. We are happy to work with the Writing Center. We can make accommodations for that. If you're really struggling to find 3 papers, but you have 2 papers from one class and 1 paper from another, please, again, reach out. We will work with the Writing Center and see if we can get that approved. The biggest thing is we want students to get this in, get it graded, because the worst thing is you're all ready for graduation and the only thing you haven't done is the junior writing portfolio, and it has absolutely happened before. So we want to make sure. Hi, Andrea, how are you? So it's been 20 years?
So here, we had someone talk, Andrea Jones.
Oh, do I need?
Yeah, no, you can address her if you like.
Hi, okay, yeah, Andrea, so we have a lot of students who have that situation. And so like I said, under certain circumstances, you can use papers from your professional career. You can use papers while you're here. So as long as you're not graduating that semester, we can accommodate you. So how many credit hours do you have? Or approximately, if you don't know, or what's your status?
She's a junior.
Okay, so you're going to be a rising junior in the spring. So you'll be able to use your papers from Washington State. You have time to complete that portion. Yeah, we'll give you, so in the first semester, it's not a rush. So you have a little breathing room if it's your first semester. Next semester, you probably would want to go ahead and sign up for your exam and get that out of the way. And then we can work with you while you're here to get your 3 papers. And we have, and I'll go over it in just a moment, what we call a writing portfolio action plan. So that helps you and your advisor put together 3 courses that you may want to use writing samples from. And then we can have that hold the place of your paper packet until you're ready to turn it in. That help out a little bit? Yeah, your concern is many of your fellow classmates have that concern. So we will absolutely work with you. So I'm going to go to the next slide. And so I was talking about the action plan. So here's the slide for that. So it's unique to the global campus. None of the other campuses do this, but it is something we've come up with, and it allows our students, like I said, to work with myself, to work with their advisor, to choose 3 courses, either that they're currently taking or will be taking in the future, that they feel they'll do their best writing in. Because those are the papers we want you to submit to the Writing Center. So it's a paper that I can email to you. You do need to submit it back to me by email just so we have record of it and so it can act as a placeholder. We usually let it hold the place for 1 semester, so it's usually submitted by juniors who are sort of trying to get through or need an extension or need more time to contact a professor, or there's that 1 paper that they just need to finish writing. So like I said, if you have any concerns, you email me. I will send that out to you. I will let your advisor know that I'm sending it out to you as well. And then you have that extra semester to complete your paper packet. So that's something, like I said, that's unique to the global campus. It gives our students a little more time. Our students are obviously busy in very different ways. You have very different life responsibilities. So we're just trying to give you all ways to complete that graduation requirement. Okay, so this is a little tiny, but these are some of the general do's and don'ts since I answer these questions several times a day. And rarely do I get any new ones. So these are sort of the general questions that I get that have students a little bit panicked about the writing portfolio. So do use any size envelope. I know on the website it says 9 by 12. No problem. I can go back if you need me to show you the action plan. Okay, I can always go back. So I'll go over the do's and don'ts, and then we can go back and answer any questions that you have. So you can use any size envelope. 9 by 12 is a suggestion. It's the most popular size, but whatever size you can use, as long as the papers aren't folded, we will accept that. We accept the envelope within the envelope, but also if you just send 1 envelope and put all the papers in there, we're just going to tape it. So and get it over to the Writing Center, but it'll be uniform and the way that they need to receive it. And another thing, and I don't think I put it on here, if you have a hold and you mail in your paper packet, and that is how we accept paper packets, is by a good old snail mail. The minute we receive it in the office, that is when we lift your hold. It's not It doesn't stay on until they review it. We lift it in our office. So that allows you all to register if you need to. So that's a do. A don't. You cannot actually, but don't use 3 papers from the same course. The Writing Center absolutely will not accept a paper packet where all the papers are the same. They will send it back to me, and then I will have to contact you, and you'll have to send another paper anyway. So unfortunately, I know that's trying for some students, but we absolutely cannot take 3 papers from the same class. Do send confirmation emails for your exams. So if you sign up for the exam online through Examity, is our proctoring service. They give you a confirmation email once you finish registering for your exam. If you just forward that to the email address I will give you in a moment, we can go ahead and lift your hold. If you take it in person, when you email us with the name of the proctor and the address, we will mail off your testing materials, and once we mail those off, I go ahead and lift your hold and count it as an exam confirmation, and I will also send you a confirmation email. So just keep us up to date if you're taking the test in person. So that just helps us to keep your records up to date. So this is a big one. Don't wait until the last semester. It is a graduation requirement. So while most students receive a passing grade on their portfolio, not all of them do. If you do not receive a passing grade, you will get in your holds box a writing requirement hold, and that means you will need to complete a 1-credit course in order to meet the writing portfolio requirement. So if you get a needs help or a writing requirement and you're set to graduate and you have that 1 credit, you will have to complete that 1 credit the next semester. So we urge students to get it in at least by the end of their junior year, hence the name Junior Writing Portfolio, just to give themselves plenty of time and breathing room to meet that graduation requirement. And it seems silly, but it is a major graduation requirement, so we really want you all to get it done. Do tell myself, the Writing Portfolio Coordinator, if you have taken your exam previously at another WSU campuses. So we have students who change campuses often. So if you've taken it at Vancouver or Pullman, you just need to let me know so I can update our records and lift any holds you might have. Okay, don't submit multiple action plans or exam confirmation. So you can submit one if you had an issue with your exam online, which has happened. You can submit a second one. We don't take multiples unless they're extenuating circumstances. You don't need to send either of those things in more than once. So those are things that should be completed and out of the way and hold the place once. If you're still having issues, you can contact me directly, and I will work with you to help you resolve those, but sending multiple action plans doesn't help much. Oh, yes. Another don't. Don't take the wrong exam. So on Examity, you have the option to take your writing placement or your junior writing portfolio. Please make sure you're clicking on junior writing portfolio. It takes a lot to make that correction if you take the wrong exam. So just try to be mindful of that. They are clearly labeled, but it is easy to get those two things confused. Where am I? Thank you. Andrew's helping me here. So do take this seriously. While it is not something you should stress over, and I get stressed students all the time, and that's understandable. You certainly don't need to be stressed out. It is serious. It is a graduation requirement, and you will not receive your degree if you do not complete your writing portfolio and receive a passing grade or pass the class. It's as simple as that. So we do take it seriously. That's why the holds go on to prevent you from registering. This university requires a single student to take the writing portfolio and pass it. And then the last don't. So like I said, don't stress while it is a requirement. Most students pass without issue. So it's really just an observation of your writing skills and making sure that when you leave this university, you are equipped to write in a professional setting or whatever setting you go into. A pro tip, and this one was actually given to me by Joy, our advising supervisor. If you can, collect a writing sample from each course you take. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a traditional essay, so it can be anything as long as it's 1.5 pages of text. And make sure you get a confirmation, or if you have a professor who says, I don't do emails for writing portfolios, you can print that response out from Blackboard, and that can count as your confirmation as well. And just get one from each course. That way you can choose the 3 best writings that you feel you have done and submit those. And I believe the last slide is just my contact information. So the first one is the mailing address, and that is for all of your paper packets or any other, or if your exam is in person, that is where your proctor will mail your exam. And the second one is my direct line. 355, right? Yeah, I was very tired when I did that. So that's my direct line for any writing portfolio concerns. And then the biggest one is the email. So online.wp@wsu.edu is where all writing portfolio email concerns, exam confirmations, any questions regarding the writing portfolio will go. And then if you have questions on the grade you received or how your paper or how the review process works, then you will need to contact the Pullman Writing Center. They are the ones who grade all papers across campuses. So as you can imagine, they're very busy, and so sometimes it takes a little longer to get your grades just because they have a lot of backup. Like I said, they grade every single WSU student's papers, but they are who you will contact if you have any issues regarding grades. Yeah, so again, the action plan is unique to our WSU Global Campus. It helps our students. It's a little harder for you all to collect papers being online students, and so it's sort of a stopgap before you can submit your paper packet. So it gives you an extra semester. It's a way for you to game plan along with your advisor, myself, professors even, to choose classes that you think will exemplify your writing. So you can pick 3 classes in the future. Like you said, it's the first semester. So you get that breathing room the first semester, but then you want to start thinking about some of the classes you'll be talking to your advisor, following your degree plan, and sort of collecting those thoughts and choosing those 3 classes, and then you would just fill out the action plan accordingly. So it gives you space to fill out the 3 courses and the names of the professors and the date that you approximately think you'll turn the paper in. So really it would just be the bump for the semester. So probably toward the end of whatever semester you're choosing. And then that'll act as a placeholder. It allows us to lift your hold so you can register if need be. But it also just helps you plan so it's not quite such a panicky experience in that you can really think about the kind of papers you want to submit for review.
And where do you find the action plan? Like, how do you go to that and fill that out?
So I believe the action plan is there's a link to it online through our current students tab. But if not, you can always just email me at online.wp and I will send it directly to you. And then you can just email it right back to me and I'll lift it. I'll lift the hold once you send it back if you have one. All right. Any other questions?
Okay, so there we go. And do we have any other questions for Sylvia and the writing portfolios? And so you talk about the holds. The holds go on. When do they go on? And when should I worry? Because I don't want to leave it to last minute and try to register for classes and then I can't do it.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we are actually not in charge of putting on the holds. That is through our writing center because they also do the reviews. It usually goes on after the 30th day of classes. So once the free drop ad period is over, it usually goes on around that time. So it is a while before registration. So they're on now. So if you are over 60 credits, so officially a junior standing, that hold will go on every semester until your packet is completed and graded. But if you, like I said, submit confirmations, or if it's your very first semester and you've transferred in as a junior, we can always lift that hold, and we have protocols in place to check that. If we miss something, please just email us and we'll go ahead and take care of that. Holds aren't anything to really freak out about until registration time because a writing portfolio hold does prevent you from adding classes. So you do want to get that taken care of before your registration period. And your advisor will also make you aware of that hold so that you can get in contact with me or them or whatever we need to do to help you out with that. The holds do go on as a reminder. If you are on your last semester and you still have a hold, that's a conversation that we will need to have. I'm not necessarily allowed to lift those holds, but prior to that, as long as you're in contact with me and we're aware of the situation and you're making progress, we can work with you.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Again, do we have any other questions? Okay, well then I think we're good. So thank you, Sylvia, for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, and so again for me, you're welcome to leave. So again for me, I kind of explained who I was last night. My name's Andrea. I work with Global Connections. So if you enjoy events like this, let me know. If there's other things you want to do or participate in, let me know that too, because I'm working for you. I want to provide whatever you are looking for and whatever interests you. So you can always go to events.wsu.edu, see what's happening on campus. If it's enough time in advance, I can try to work some magic and get that live streamed for you so you can participate as well. As I mentioned last night, we are currently hiring some student ambassadors. We hire about 4 to 6. So I have lots of positions to fill, so feel free to send me your resume and cover letter. It's a part-time job that you do mostly online. You would just be attending events like this, helping ask questions to keep the ball rolling and keeping students engaged, and also giving me those ideas on what kind of events you want to see and so forth. So I am accepting applications, so please send them my way. And yeah, just always keep track of our Facebook and our Global Connections page for upcoming events. And I think we are good for the night, unless anybody has anything else they'd like to add. Going once, going twice. Okay, well, you guys have a great evening, and thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, go Cougs.